Our guns are easily accessible to people today. Just a question. It just kind of runs through my mind as unfortunately we have a very tragic news that came out of Robb Elementary School. There were another case of mass shooting. It's similar to Sandy Hook School, but this happened in, I believe, Robb, Texas. And if I'm not mistaken, Robb, Texas is not far from, I think, Houston, Texas. If I'm not mistaken, either Houston or Austin. I think it's not far from Austin, Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there's been a case of an 18-year-old man that went into a school full of children. And from the last updated sources from the news, from my local news, it stated that 18 children died and 2 teachers, they died of gunshot wounds. I think the other 5 of them died. It was 5 of them died during when they was in the hospital, which means they died of their injuries later on, while the other 14 of the children actually unfortunately died during the incident. And just to go off with what I'm stating, I just noticed a trend of 18-year-old that actually have easy access to guns. Very easy access to guns. And it's the same case with another 18-year-old that happened. Another 18-year-old man that shoot up a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. And I just noticed a pattern, like a trend of it. These young men have guns. Like, how do they get these guns? And another question is, how do they get the money for them? Of course, they're old enough to work and everything, but with the purchase of some of these automatic guns, they're very expensive. And also, do they do background checks as well? That's just a question I would like to throw out there. And my heart just so heavy, was heavy about this, because these were children. Like, he couldn't go to if you want to take a sip off, okay, but he chose a school full of children. And this is from if I'm not mistaken, children from grade 2nd to 5th grade. So you're talking about a group of 7-year-old, between the ages of 7 to 11, maybe 12. Well, I say 12 to the most, but definitely between the ages of 7 to 11 years old. And I can only imagine how the parents are feeling, knowing that they send their child to school, sending their children to school, not knowing that will be the last day of them seeing them. And when around this time, that's when the end of the school year is underway, if it's not there yet, probably in a week or maybe a few days. And as a child, you looking forward to spending the summer with your family, having fun, enjoying a few months off from school, which is unfortunately the children that lost their life in this gun violence won't get to experience that, because we have a selfish killer that's out on the loose, killing people. And you choose an elementary school where soft targets are at. I just noticed about these shooters, they chose soft targets, just like the shooter from New York. He chose a soft target aiming at mostly elderly people who are actually shopping. Now, nobody is thinking in their mind, for the most part, any sane person is not thinking about bringing guns to a grocery store. But now people might have to do that. And they get to the point now where teachers might end up having to get armed. Don't you agree? But again, my condolences goes out to the children and their family. And I'm just tired of hearing the same old talk. It's kind of getting a little redundant with this gun control. Every time there's a mass shooting, they always talk about gun control. Oh, we need to have gun control. Oh, the left is and the right is. It's all about Republican, Democrats, and they're making everything about something like that political. Meanwhile, parents are mourning the death of their children, and even some of them who are lucky to still have their child that probably escaped from that school, they probably tempting to not they're probably tempted to homeschool their children, not want to send this child to public school anymore. And they get to that point now where, parents might have to homeschool their children, which is school might end up having, might be studentless because of case like that. And another thing is, to where is the like resource officer? Don't they have resource officer or anybody that protect the school? I mean, come on, like they should have like security. They should have anything locked down, especially when it comes to children, because they usually have place secure to protect these children. That's just a question that kind of fester in my mind. It just kind of baffles me. But just tell me what you think about this tragic incident. Do you think teachers should have guns and bring guns to school, or do you think the school might need extra security? And also, do they still do background check when purchasing guns? And do you think semi-automatic weapons are available? Now, I don't know what kind of, because I haven't looked up the type of gun he choose, but more likely it might have been like an automatic weapon. But my condolences and prayers go out to the children and their family. And the children, my prayers go out to the children who survived this incident, because they could be forever traumatized and they might be too scared to even go to school.